Taught here at Berkeley 20 years. I changed looks apparently. This is my 27th year teaching. I'm now with Roanoke City at Noel C. Taylor Academy. And my very first trip with EF was when I was a senior in high school in the 90s. So they've been going that long. That's just something to let you know about how reliable this company is that we use, something to maybe put your mind at ease a little bit. My son is currently a junior here. I was chasing him down from open courts with tennis before the meeting started. And I like to write, hike, bake, garden. I dabble in a lot of little things. It's just fun. Good stuff. But I'm always up for an adventure. And it doesn't matter if it's like a new restaurant, a new recipe, a new hike, something I haven't seen before. I'm always up for it. We had Mill Mountain Zoo come to my school today and show off animals, and I was loving it. And the kids were like, "Yeah, no, I'm not touching that," but I was all for it. So that's me. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lori Ward. I have been teaching, this is my fourth year teaching in Roanoke County. Before that, I was a college professor for 11 years. I teach Latin. And so as a professor, I took students abroad. And when I came here last year was my first year taking students abroad to Italy and Greece. And we had an amazing time. It was really great. I loved it. And so I was like, yes, we should do it again. And so this is going to be my second tour with EF. I travel all the time, probably every month at least. I go out of town or out of state with my family, probably because I'm an Army brat. And so I grew up every single year. I was in like a different state or country. I lived in a couple different stations in Europe. So the concept of like you got to like keep moving is big on me. So that really put the love of travel in me.
Okay. And I am Mrs. Farrington. I'm the ITRT here at William Byrd High School, but I also teach Spanish for the online academy for Roanoke County. This is my 21st year here in Roanoke County, and all 21 years have been at William Byrd High School. But previously, I taught in upstate New York as well as in the Pittsburgh area, everything from like fourth grade to 12th grade. And I also did community college there for a little bit while I was still in college. So I've traveled quite a bit. Obviously, I was born in the Philippines, so I came to the U.S. when I was 7. Not quite an Army brat, but my dad was a civil engineer, and almost every other year he had a job somewhere else in the world or in the country. So I actually lived 4 years in Mexico, and I've lived pretty much up and down the East Coast. And that's why I was like, well, this is fun. So I hated it as a teenager because I don't have any friends that I have known since kindergarten, like most of the kids around here, or some of my friends, like my husband. He's born and raised Bedford County. So he's been friends with all of his friends, and it wasn't until he married me that he finally got to see other parts of the world. So I took him to Ireland, Scotland, London, and France, and he's like, this is fun. Let's do it again. So when I say, oh, we're going to do this trip, he's like, can I come? So I put the bug of travel in him, whereas before I was like, yeah, I'm happy here. I don't want to go anywhere. But now he's like, you're always leaving me, so I might as well come with you, But my very first trip was in 2016, and it was one of my Spanish students that said, can we do a field trip? I'm like, what do you mean a field trip? It's like, let's go to Spain. And it wasn't me that picked my very first itinerary. It was actually that student who said, let's go do a field trip. So it first started out as Spain, and then she added on Italy. And I was like, ooh, there's a Greece, Italy, and Spain itinerary. And she's Greek, she's part Greek. So she's like, can we do that one? I was like, sure, let's do it. And that was my very first trip with students. So I sponsor a few things here and there. So I'm on campus pretty much every single day until late hours of the day. I have not left school today, and we had an early dismissal. So, but we are very active in the community. We sponsor a lot of things. So you're going to see our names a lot. We also offer Korean classes on Saturdays here. So if you guys are interested in attending and learning Korean language and culture, we're here on Saturdays from 11 to 2 o'clock. just a little plug for our classes here because, you know, language teachers, we love languages. So any opportunity that we can plug a language in there and language learning and culture, we're going to do it. Right. But that's me. So here are some reasons why we travel. Dion.
Okay, so the first one was with the Dark Hedges in Ireland, and that's when I tagged along on Cherry Bell's trip. She allowed me to. It was very nice. I loved it. The second one is the salt mines in Salzburg, and the third one was in Japan. Do you remember?
Hakone.
Thank you.
Hakone.
Okay, I travel because I think, especially in our current climate, it's important that we experience the fact that humans are humans are humans, even though we're different, we're the same. And I think you see that even more when you actually are looking at family units in restaurants in languages that you can't understand, right? And trying different foods and looking at how the different religions and the different traditions are actually demonstrated on a day-to-day basis. It's fantastic. I started traveling with Cherry Bell specifically so that my son would learn some of these values as he was growing up. And he has traveled with me several times. And I've already seen that when we are hiking up a hill in Banff in Alberta, Canada, we had people who were wearing all kinds of different outfits and they were speaking all kinds of different languages and they didn't even bat an eye. And it was beautiful. I loved it. So I do it because I love an adventure and I love bringing that open-mindedness and acceptance to my son, who will hopefully spread that even further as well.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I know, sorry. No, here. So cute. I'm going to talk a little bit about why, I mean, I've told you before, I'm just a traveler in my blood, but why I love traveling with students, why I think it's important for students to have the opportunity to travel. So I'm a mom of an elementary school kid and a middle school kid. And so I get to see how difficult it is sometimes for them to break out of their shells. And what I'm amazed by looking at all of these all represent different ways that I saw my students and the kids on the trip with me just do things that they never would have done before. So the first one is we're in the Vatican Museum. And I mean, this was like a 2-hour-long museum tour. They were in it the whole time. I think about trying to drag my kids. I'm like, hey, Taubman's right there. We can just pop on in. Like, absolutely not. But there, you know, it's like you're forced to be there. The only thing to look at is the art, right? And so they were just, I mean, they were like, that's two of my students right there. They were just like snapping pictures, asking questions. I would not get that in a classroom if I presented like, you know, something like this, but in that building, in that room, they were in it, right? Here we're at the Pantheon. Again, I must have presented that building to my Latin classes a billion times, right? And they would not be able to, well, no, I'm a great teacher. They would be able to recognize it on a quiz. But also, you know, the uptake for the students who were actually physically there, who got to see the building, interact with these sites. I mean, they know Rome. We must have come back to that, what, like 3 or 4 times, the Pantheon. So by the end, they were like, yes, we meet at the Pantheon. We know where the Pantheon is. We can orient ourselves.
The rest of born half time. We just be passed by it.
Walking by, there's the Pantheon. And then finally, just getting to see students, their friendships grow and develop. I will say it is amazing. It's a big ask, but it's amazing if your student can go with someone they know on the trip and they get to have like almost a taste of what it might be like after high school, if they're going to go in college, something like that. Like they get to understand what it's going to be like, not always having their parents around, although I do really mom out on these trips, but they get this taste. And so watching them be like, oh, this is the importance of these friends I'm going to have and I'm going to lean on, that are, it's not always going to be my mom who will solve it or my dad who will solve it or my grandmother. It's going to be maybe this person who's my same age who can help me with X or Y. So those things in particular, that's why these are all from the same trip, but they're all these different ways I saw students grow and develop and eat sauce for the first time. Yeah, new foods. Huge.
New foods is amazing. And it looks like my Barcelona picture did not transfer over.
No.
But my very first trip took us to Barcelona after Greece and Italy, of course. And just like she said, new foods. I had one kid on this very first trip. He ate all the time. Every single time we saw food, he was buying food. I was like, "Are you okay?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm fine." I was like, "I'm just really hungry, and that is really good." So when we were in Greece, he kept buying souvlaki. It was like souvlaki on a roll, like rolled up, ready to go. It was like one of those foods that you can just buy at a stall and just walk with it, and it was perfectly fine. And he'd buy 2 and 3 at a time. He'd just down it like it was nothing. And then we'd have our actual meals and same. And it's like, I've never had this before, but I really like it. So we had tons of souvlaki when we were in Greece. So by the time we went to Italy, it was like, ooh, new foods. Like, some of them have never actually even traveled outside of the country before, much less within the country on a plane. So a lot of our travelers are flying for the very, very first time ever for long distances, long periods of time in a plane. I mean, here to Florida is like an hour and a half, right? Or maybe less. But here we are hopping on a plane and we're flying 7, 8 hours. And then when we went to Japan, it was 14 hours straight, you know? So things like that are experiences that they've never had before. But when they come back, they're telling their parents, like, yeah, you do this, you do that. And I was like, it's easy peasy. So that person, that student that told me, hey, let's go to Greece, Italy, and Spain, her sophomore year of college, she studied abroad. She went to Germany, she went to Germany, Austria, Copenhagen, all by herself. Parents are like, what have you done to my child? It's like, now I can't keep her at home. She's actually getting married to Navy. So, so she's going to be doing a whole lot of traveling alone right there. But it gave her the confidence to actually go abroad by herself, her and a couple of her classmates that were on that trip with her. And they've never, before that trip, had never been outside of the country. But here they were navigating airports and like other countries on their own. And one of the greatest things about it is, one thing that I always tell my husband is like, if you can navigate public transportation in a different country, in a foreign country, you are good to go. That's like a badge of like knowledge right there, because every country, unlike the United States, has public transportation that is easily accessible. And if you can navigate the tube in London, or the subway system in Madrid or Spain, or even in France, or even in South Korea or Japan, you are golden. Because
You can do Japan trains.
yes, if you've seen a map of Japan, it's completely different from what you do in the tube in England. So things like that, where they're learning things and navigating things, and as they've already said, being able to be independent, and you see that growth when they come back and they're doing things on their own that normally, typically, you are doing for them. So that's why I travel. But journeys that travel with them for the rest of their lives, basically, 89% of EF travelers say they understand more about new people, places, and cultures, and they see themselves reflecting and comparing the US to all the different places that they've actually visited and traveled to. 88% say they grew more confident and independent. I mean, my daughter, she is very dependent on me. She's 19 years old. She's traveled with me several times. And even though she still likes me doing things for her, I know she could do it on her own without, if she really needed to, you know. And 92% say they discovered more about themselves as a result of their tour. And one of those things is like, yeah, I don't like people as much as I thought. That's my daughter. It's like, because we go to crowded places quite often as tourists. And she's like, yeah, I can't do it. That's why I told her when she graduates, she does not have to go on trips with me anymore. Because that was one thing she learned. It's like, I don't like crowds, Mom. So I'm like, all right, you're cool. So we are going to, very first.
So when I went to Ireland with Carabelle in 2018, we spent literally 24 hours in Scotland. We arrived at lunch and we left by lunch the next day, and we both went, that's not enough. We need more. We need more. We need more. So this trip is designed completely around exploring more of what Scotland has to offer. It is 9 days, 9 days, and we will be starting in Glasgow, going up in a loop down to Edinburgh, and then flying home from Edinburgh. So Glasgow for 2 nights, up to the West Highlands, over to Inverness, which includes Loch Ness, which means I get to hunt Nessie. Right? Yeah. Okay. Then down to Edinburgh and then home. Okay. The requested dates are July 7th through the 15th. This is this coming summer. Okay, so it's 2026. We have the extra window there because what EF does is they try to get the best price for the tickets to make sure that our cost does not go up. And so if they can get a better price just one day earlier, that's when we go. So when you are marking these down, when you're looking at Cherry Belle's and Lori's trips and you're looking at the dates for them, you want to have that entire window blocked off. Don't plan a family trip, because if they have to shift it, then you'll know exactly when you'll have it already safe in your calendar. Okay. So requested dates are the 7th through the 15th, but there's a possibility that we could leave as early as July 4th, or possibly, depending on when things shift, arrive home as late as July 18th. All right. My son he'll be a senior next year. He's active in the band. He wanted to make sure he did not miss any of band camp. So this is a little bit earlier in the year than Cherry Belle and I usually travel, but that is why we specifically designed it for those dates.
What instrument does your kid play?
He is currently on mellophone, but he's also done trumpet.
Sydney?
Yes.
I'm
But dates are confirmed about 2-3 months out.
Yes.
So you guys, as soon as we know our
And
confirmed
we pass
dates,
it on because we're all
we've-
excited.
yeah, so that way you know, it's like, okay, you have this time now. You can plan other things around it.
All right, so we will start with Glasgow, which I have never been to. We drove past it and it looked beautiful, and I'm very excited about this. It is Scotland's largest city. It has a beautiful university that I really want to go look at. I don't know if we're gonna have time for that.
Probably not.
We get to look at the working class roots, as well as experience more of the history and the culture. Oh, look at you, Vanna Whiting for me over there.
Miss Ward is a real goat.
She is. Then we're going to move on to Doon Castle. How many of you have seen Outlander? How many of you have seen Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail? How many of you have seen what else? I want to say Game of Thrones, but I'm not sure. This has been in there. If you want to reenact your father was a hamster and your mother smells of elderberries with me,
You can do it.
we can do it. So I'm really excited about that. If you've seen Harry Potter, yes, we're going to be going to the Glenfinnan Viaduct, and we will be riding the Harry Potter train over the Glenfinnan Viaduct. And we will finish with Edinburgh Castle, which is actually one of the oldest establishments. I did a little bit of research on this. We've had people living on that volcanic mountain since less than 1,000. They were there 1,000 years before the castle was built, and the castle's been about, I don't know, it's been crazy. History.
Yeah.
All right. We will explore the Royal Mile, which is part of the Old Town of Edinburgh. Okay. Lots of medieval buildings, just beautiful architecture. It is really wonderful. If you are given enough time while we're there, we might see where Harry Potter was written. The book,
The elephant room.
right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be on the mile.
Yeah.
I think people found it when we were there before,
Yeah.
but I did not. So
It was off, when we were going to lunch, it was up that way. Only reason why I know is because Gareth showed me where it was. I actually met up with this former student that was studying at Edinburgh University that day, and he guided us, and he's like, that's where blah, blah, blah. And he told me this is this, and I'm like, okay. So that's the
pretty
fun
awesome.
thing.
And we finished with the Storytelling Center, which is also in Edinburgh. It has some of the best storytellers. You learn the art and the craft of telling your own story, and as someone who is a writer and an English teacher, that's very exciting.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. So here's trip number 2 with Ms. Ward or Dr. Ward.
My hand, if you- the bottom. Didn't quite have my stuff organized.
I will.
So, good. So this is Switzerland, Spain, Italy and France. Sorry, not in that order. Switzerland, Italy, France, and Spain. So last summer I went to Greece and Rome, which makes sense because I'm a classics teacher. I teach Latin. This is the area that I love. But Rome was very hot and crowded. And I was like, I want Roman ruins. Okay. But I also do not want to be in a lot of crowds. So what I wanted was mountains, beaches, and Roman ruins. So that's the way to think of this trip. If you're like, this feels weird, it's mountains, beaches, and Roman ruins. So we start off, we fly into Zurich, and then we go down to Lucerne. If you've ever seen a picture of, well, I'm sorry, we'll see the individuals, but if you've ever seen a picture of a beautiful lake in Switzerland, with a beautiful covered bridge across it, that's Lucerne. Yep. Then we're going to go down to the Italian Lakes District. We'll go to Cinque Terre, which is those fishing villages on the shore of Italy. The French Riviera. We'll go into Provence. This is where actually there's a huge number of beautifully preserved Roman ruins. Some of the best Roman ruins are actually here because in Italy they like took them all apart to use them to build other stuff. But here, beautiful. And then down to Barcelona. So all right, so these are our travel dates. So this is, now we're talking about not this upcoming summer, but the following summer, so 2027. And so my dates are pretty much right after school ends. I try to travel as early as possible in June. These are my requested dates. Last year I got within a day of my requested dates. So I'm hoping right around here. In fact, she actually priced out the flights as of now. She was like, these are the cheapest dates right now. So that's pretty much what I'm looking for. It is an 11-day trip. That's why it's slightly longer there on that block off. All right.
Highlights.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Your covered bridge, your Lucerne, your mountains. So this is Lucerne. We're gonna go see the lake. You can do some swimming in the lake. And then we'll also climb, not climb, we'll be
Go up.
yeah, we'll gondola up the top of Mount Pilatus and get to see, so you'll get to be up actually in the Swiss Alps for a little bit. Then we travel by bus down to Cinque Terre, which are these beautiful fishing villages, get a little taste of Italy, literally and figuratively. And then we go into the south of France. So we pretty much stay for a day or two in each place. And then the next day we travel and then we stay at that place for a day or two. So we do a walking tour of Nice, and then we spend a little while in that Provence area. We go to Avignon, where the popes, if you know your Middle European history, it's all past the Roman fall of the Roman Empire, so it's a little weak for me. But there's a papal palace down there that we'll visit, which was moved there in 1309. I actually went to Avignon with my husband for a anniversary trip. Is stunning. And then in the Provence region, we're going to see this stuff. This is the best preserved Roman aqueduct in Europe. We're going to get to see this. This is the Pont du Gard. We get to actually go swimming in the river at the base of the Pont du Gard. It is so cool. You can walk across this whole thing.
Is that aqueduct functional?
It is not functional because you can walk across it. You can walk across all of
Because the one in Seville is functional.
well, fine. But it's
I'm saying.
All right. You're like, I thought we weren't going to Rome. Isn't that the Colosseum? No, you can also tell because look at how preserved it is. Colosseum is like half destroyed.
Yeah.
This is the best preserved amphitheater in Europe. There's some real nice ones in Northern Africa, but this is the best one in Northern Europe, and it is in Nîmes, which also has a UNESCO World Heritage Museum. It's an incredible new museum that they built for Roman stuff. Nîmes is such a beautiful city. So lots of Roman ruins there. And then finally, we're going to end in Barcelona. I'm excited. That's the one city on the list I've never been to. So we're going to go to Barcelona. Huh?
It's beautiful. I've been 4 times.
Horribly overrated. I'll be very disappointed.
No, it's actually quite
It's
beautiful.
actually stunning. No, it's like, this is incredible. We actually get a lot of free time on our schedule when we're in Barcelona. We take some walking tours and things, but there's an opportunity here. I think sometimes some students can go to the beach. There's like a biking tour. There's a bunch of different options that students can take here when we end in Barcelona, and then we fly out of Barcelona.
Barcelona is very beautiful. It used to be my favorite city until I went to Japan. But then I went to South Korea. I was like, oh,
There you go. So that is it. They call it Alps in the Mediterranean coast, which I'm like, you should really rename it
you should.
to mountains, beaches, and Roman ruins. Much better.
Much more classical.
That's right. Much more.
Yes. And last but not least, South Korea is our 12-day tour going to Seoul, Busan, Jeongju, and we also go to Jeju Island. So it is 12 days. It basically sees a lot of the country from the current capital to the old capital to South Korea's Hawaii. So basically you get the mountains, the city life, as well as the beaches. So you do have times to go to actual beaches on 2 different cities. So we have, like I said, we spend about 4 days in Seoul itself. Gyeongju for 2 days, which is the old capital of one of the kingdoms. At one point in time, South Korea had 3 different kingdoms when it was still all united, and only one lasted until like the 1600s. So the most recent one is the Joseon period. So it's like really that's the one that you're going to see the most of, and you hear about the most because it was the longest out of all of the 3 different kingdoms. So Seoul, Gyeongju, and then we go to Busan, which is also on the coast, and then we fly out. We go back to Seoul, and then we fly out to Jeju, which is considered South Korea's Hawaii. So that you get an island, you can and there's beaches. You see there's a culture there that's only prevalent on that island, where you have what are called hyenas, where they actually go and dive without any scuba gear for oysters and pearls and stuff like that. So that we actually get to visit that. We get to visit many different things, but let's go ahead and go through here. So in Jeju Island, we actually get to hike 2 different mountains, and we get to visit a waterfall as well. We explored Yakchonsa Temple and the Camellia Hill Botanical Gardens, which is really, there are many UNESCO World Sites on Jeju Island itself, as well as in the rest of South Korea. I actually just got back from South Korea 2 weeks ago, so I'm still in like withdrawals. I was like, I still really want to go back. I wish I was still there, but homecoming is next week, and I kind of need to be here. So, in Seoul, we see the Gwanghwamun Square and the Cheonggyecheon Stream, as well as Cheonggye Plaza. So this is the King Sejong, who actually, with his advisors, created the modern, what is now the Korean language, the writing system. So Korean writing system is one of the few, it's like actually the only language that can be traced to its origins. And it was based on like scientific findings and how the mouth is actually formed. He and his advisors in his little study created the Korean language writing system in the 1600s. So, and that is the palace right behind him, as well as the plaza right in front. So here on this plaza, you'll actually see all the government buildings. So anytime you hear that there's like any strikes or anything happening in Seoul, South Korea, all of them are happening here, the protests, because if you want to protest or anything, you want all the government officials to actually see you're protesting, and they're all peaceful. They'll protest, they'll be there. There's millions of people, but they clean up after themselves. So they make a mess, but when they're done with their protest, they clean up and it's all gone. So, but we also get to travel to Busan, which is the 2nd largest city in South Korea, and we actually get to see the Gamcheon Culture Village and its colorful streets and houses, and that is also a World UNESCO site. The village, the people that live there, they were trying they were trying to tear down all of those houses, and the people that live there, it's like, no, you're not going to do that, and they were able to preserve their homes. So that's only one of the culture villages. You actually get to see another one in Seoul. Sightseeing some more in Busan. In Busan, we actually get to go cable car up to a mountain, and you'll see, and we'll visit a couple beaches there. And then we go to the Gyeongju National Museum, and the Bulgaksa Temple that you see down there is the only monument that is surviving of one of the kingdoms, the Silla Kingdom. So remember I said that there are three. This one is the only it's the only remnant from the Silla Kingdom itself in the entire country. So, and then of course, food. We actually get to do a cooking class while we are there. And you will get to visit some of the open air markets that are in all over South Korea, in Seoul and in Myeongdong. There we get to visit Namdaemun, Dongdaemun, and we get to see everything from foods to crafts and K-pop if you're a K-pop fan. And then of course, K-drama items as well. So like you get to experience all the history and the culture, and then of course the modern pop culture as well. So it's a mixture of everything you'll see, from your traditional architecture to your skyscrapers. Some, like one of the Lotte building in Seoul, South Korea is actually the tallest building. It's taller than the Empire State Building. So, and it's a mall, mall and a hotel at the same time. So what gets you most excited about this travel experience? So out of the three, what are you guys most excited about? What are you looking forward to? What do you want to see?
I'm looking forward to just a lot of new exposure. We're going to a lot of new places like France and Spain,
Mhm.
two places of which I haven't been to before. And I'm really excited to, get a little bit more cultural exposure.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Well, you already know what we're excited about. So, well, we love food. So, but apart from the itinerary, we have what is called a tour director, and the tour director is with us from start to finish. When I say start to finish, we land at the airport, we meet them there, he meets us at the airport, he travels with us, he stays at the same hotels with us, he shows us around, or he or she, they show us around all of the different sites that we'll be visiting. And then the day that we leave, they'll wave us off at the airport and put it like, he can't put us on the plane, but he will see us off. So, but they basically manage everything and they're very knowledgeable. And the great thing about EF tour directors are they're probably the best ones in the business. They are so knowledgeable and they have been doing it for many, many, many years. Every the company has been around for 60 years. And one of the things that I do like about the EF is just that they have boots on the ground. So if you are in Seoul, South Korea, they have offices there. They have language schools there. So if there is anything happening in any of the locations that we are visiting, they have ears to the ground. They know what's going on, and they will troubleshoot as quickly as possible. So that is one of the things, is like communication with their tour director is key, because they are bilingual or trilingual, depending on how many countries you're visiting. So you've got everything from Italian, French, Spanish, and German, Swiss.
Yeah.
In English. So the majority of them are multilingual tour directors.
So for me, last year was my first trip, so I didn't really understand fully like how all of these things come together. I just knew like everybody does these EF trips. So I was like, why does everyone do it with this particular company? What are the things they offer? Like, why not? I've always traveled by myself. Why wouldn't you just like put together this trip by yourself? So this is some of the reasons why we have this kind of company behind us. And the tour director, again, I am the group leader, right? The individual teacher is the group leader. Like I'm looking out after the well-being of the students. I am running to the pharmacia because somebody's tummy is hurting. I am like doing all of these kinds of things, right? My tour director, Paulina, is having a heated debate with this dude in Greek because she is insisting it's extra hot today and we need to have water bottles in case students want to pick them up. And he's like, we don't provide water bottles. No other group ever gets water bottles from us. And she's like, well, I don't know, man. I feel like they need water bottles. You should make that happen for us. And I'm like, I'm just over here.
We love Paulina.
You have a sense of like, what is this tour director business? They are managing everything on the ground. They are living in country. They go with you the whole time. They make sure the hotels are working out. They make sure you're getting into the sites you're supposed to. They get the tickets all together.
They make sure that your food allergies are taken care of.
They go and talk to the restaurants. They clear everything you've ever wanted, a concierge, a butler, all of that, all in one. They are doing, okay, on the ground. And they're staying in the same hotels with you. They're doing all of that. There's some other people who are going to be involved too, doing individual sites because they don't do the tours on all of the sites. They're on the bus with you. They are managing everything. And so that's why the tour director, they say, leads the way. And that's what you get here is you get somebody who's not just us, but somebody who's over there, has the connections, can do all that stuff.
They
for
even
you.
eat the meals with you.
They even eat the
Yes.
meals with you. That's
Like
right.
they
So
don't
they're
separate.
like,
Like,
they know exactly what's going
if you
on.
want to stay with your like tour director the entire time, that's probably something that you can
Yeah.
100% do.
Yeah.
Yep, you can pick their brain
Yeah.
about anything and everything that you could possibly come up with.
Yep.
So what is included?
Yep.
Who wants to take it?
So we got that full-time tour director every step of the way. Then they bundle together in the price all of your transportation. So that's just not just your flights, but all of your in-country transportation. So we'll have
Planes, trains, boats.
buses, your
buses,
gondolas up
anything.
and down, everything is all together. Breakfast and dinner are set, and then lunches are on your own, which usually worked out pretty well because you kind of get 2 meals that are regional cuisine. Although I will say, if you're a super foodie, they are like Americanized. This is not the most, they are for students. You get your overnight stays in your hotels. These are American style hotels for the most part, in that they have private bathrooms. If you've ever been to Europe, a lot of times the hotels will have bathrooms down the hall, but so they have overnight stays in hotels with private bathrooms. Your sightseeing tour directors, all your tickets. There's options to receive academic credit, and of course you get experiential learning as well. So basically, everything is bundled together in this one price.
Okay. What you're
What do you
responsible
need?
for?
You still need to make sure that you get your passports. And it needs to be active and valid for up to 6 months after your trip. Right?
Yes.
Baggage fees, if you end up bringing too many bags or have one that's overweight, that's on you. You get, right? You get one.
You get one.
And to carry on.
You get one check.
Okay. Tips for your tour director. And usually what we do is we collect that beforehand, so we will know how many bus drivers and tour directors, and we're talking about the little city ones, not the big one, right? Because your big tour director gets a tip as well, but then you have the individual city tours that you're gonna be getting, and so we collect for those as well. And what we have done is collect all that before we even leave, and then we just are able to give that, instead of having everyone scramble at the last minute going, oh my God, I may change. No, we don't worry about that, okay? Snacks and some meals. And Miss Ward, Dr. Ward already talked about how lunch is on you. Usually that's when you have a little bit of free time to sightsee, go to a store, check out a museum, go find that one thing that you've always wanted to see that's not actually on the tour, that's close by, right? That's how I got to see a statue of Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, rooming upgrades.
Rooming upgrades. Yes.
Okay.
Or if you want a room with a specific person, or like have like a specific amount of like if
Yeah.
you want a room alone, or if you want a room with someone else.
That's
Rooming
right.
alone.
Yeah.
So
alone.
rooming upgrades, so adults travel in doubles, unless of course you want a single. So if you want a single, you have to do an upgrade. There are options for family rooms where you have an adult and 2 students, or 2 adults and a student. And that's no charge for that. Okay. But most rooms for students are 3 to 4, from anywhere from 2 to 4 in a room. So if you want a single, or if you just want a double, those are rooming upgrades for students. But typically when you're rooming with other students, you become friends You have a great time, you get to know each other. And every single time that we have traveled and we have put kids in rooms together, they come back the best of friends. Our group from Japan, they still go out and do events together to this day. A whole year and a half later, they're still coming, they're getting together at festivals.
Systems.
Yeah, we had kids from, we had Franklin County, we had LB, Cave Spring, we had kids here and Liberty, and they still get together for holidays. They go celebrate birthdays together, and they go meet up at at festivals all throughout the year. So it's like things like that. They form some friendships while they are on while they are on these trips, and they're not even in the same school systems. So, oh, we had PH kids also. So, but overall, booking with confidence, this is already included on the tour, is the global travel protection. That's already included on the price that you're going to see later on here in the next couple slides. But you can upgrade to a global travel protection plus, which basically you can cancel up to 24 hours before departure for any reason whatsoever. And that's a little bit more, but so that is only, that can only be added the night or the day that you enroll on the trip. Okay, whereas the other one is already included in the price that you got. But take a look at what you've got. Your program cancellation, program interruption, illnesses and accidents, baggage and property, flight delays, emergency evacuation are all covered. But the difference is the global travel protection. You can cancel for any reason up to 24 hours before departure. So, and that's minus the $95 for the enrollment fee. So, okay, you guys ready for the prices?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. So we have $95 to enroll.
That's why. I've been advertising this for 2 years, so now that we're getting close, that's where we are, but I figure,
The one might have a long last name.
There you go.
Yes.
and it does happen.
So $95 to enroll. And as you can see, there is a $100 enrollment discount right now if you enroll by October the 3rd. And you can cancel if you signed up tonight, for example, and then you decide within the next 7 days, like, I don't know, I don't think I could do this. You can cancel with no fees or anything like that within 7 days. Okay.
All right, so again, this is next summer, so that's why the monthly fee looks so much lower because there's more months between now and 2027. So it's $224 monthly, and then $45.69 is the student cost, and then it's more for adults again because they're rooming just 2 to a room, and their fees for getting into some things are more expensive and things like that. So this, because this is further out, includes a $200 enrollment discount, and then same rules apply. You get a week from enrollment, and you can get even your $95 initial enrollment fee back. After that, you get a little while, and you would just lose your enrollment fee.
And here's South Korea. Now that's mainly because like flights just to Asia alone, like cheapest flight is $1,500. just the cheapest flight, and you can buy it as early as possible, but it's still gonna be. Now here is $357 a month. And for students, it's $75.79 for the total trip and $85.79 for any adults. Now adults is anybody 20 and up. Okay. So
when you are traveling, so as of the time of travel, 20 and up counts as an adult.
Okay.
So
Dates for this? No, that's what I want.
yes, the South Korea. I thought we did.
Yes.
It was July 5th through 16th, I think.
Oh, it did.
ooh,
It's
doesn't.
gone.
Oh no.
Well, it's on it.
It's not on here.
This will work the rescue.
I don't, well, no, I don't think.
Well, there, summer of 2027.
It is the summer of 2027, but the requested dates are July 8th through the 19th. Thank you. Wow, it was on there.
Huh. So weird.
So July 8th through the 19th, and again, allow 3 days before the 8th. So the earliest we can actually travel is July 5th, and the latest that we will return would be July 21st. Huh? It's 3.
And these don't conflict, so you know, you could.
You can travel with her early in the summer and then come with me later on in the summer. So my dates usually are later, mainly because I work summer school. So like if you're in summer school or taking an online summer academy course, that's why I travel later, because sometimes I have kids, it's like I have this class that I'm taking and it doesn't end until like July 13th. And so I'm like, here you go. I'm not traveling until after summer academy and summer school is done. So that way kids can actually get those those senior classes in before they actually go into their senior year or their junior year. So, but thank you for catching that. I could have sworn that those dates were there, but they're not. But there are monthly payment plan options with EF. You can go with 1 monthly payment, or you could do bi-monthly, and if you even wanted, weekly plans as well. And you set up, when you sign up, they ask you which one do you want, and you can even pick the day of the week or the date of the month that you actually want to make those payments on. There's manual payments. If you are doing a manual payment, 30 days after you sign up, they ask for $500. And then 90 days after you enroll, it's another $500, and you don't have to pay the remaining balance until 110 days before departure. Now, if 110 days comes along and you're like, I don't have all of it right now, you can switch to an automatic payment as well. So there are options when it comes to the payment plans, just so you can make the trip happen.
And
so
none of these plans involve any like interest or anything. They're all
Right.
just them cutting the payment in different ways. They're very happy to take your
Right.
money in whatever way you want to give it to them. So
the
don't,
price that
but
you
then
see,
it's different depending on.
Yeah.
You can actually go the plan, and then you're like, oh, look at this one, I did overtime and I got a little extra money, and put it towards it, and it'll reduce your monthly
Yeah.
payments because you're already bringing down that total amount that you still.
it will recalculate it.
Yes.
Okay.
See how low you can get your monthly?
That's
things?
right.
It's just
That's right.
So-
or another popular one is like for Christmas presents or birthdays or something like that. People, huh?
Is that our next?
Is that the next screen?
Sorry.
Preempt it. No birthdays. Anyway, I'll just say people can, relatives can gift towards the trip. Or what I was gonna say about the rooms, that's a great way, is like if you make a deal with your student, like I'll cover this much. If you want to only have if you want to just share a room with your best friend and you're just together, like that's on you or your job, or that's on your Christmas present or whatever. So those like little upgrades can be nice for that. Also, that's a nice way to just put that money in when it goes, and then your monthly goes down. So
Right. But there are pretty much every single high school in Roanoke County has a trip going out almost every single year. Multiple teachers, multiple trips. So, I mean, I'm all about travel. You don't have to go on my trip. But if I have people that have traveled with me. It's like, do you know about a trip that's going here or there, whatever? I'll ask around, and I'll give the contact information for whatever it is that you're interested in. But as of right now, we have Cape Spring Middle and High School teachers traveling, as well as Northside Middle and High, Glenver High School, Hidden Valley High School, Salem High School, Patrick Henry High School. And then of course you've got Franklin County and Liberty, and like there's a lot of teachers all around the valley and the surrounding counties that take trips with EF. So like the 60 years of experience that they have, I mean, it's just a testament of what they can and what they have done. I think we're almost done.
Yeah.
Educational.
One educational tour. It really is a bug, if you will, the travel bug. I started when I was a senior in high school and I've never wanted to stop. I want to go everywhere. I want to see everything. I want to taste everything. So it really is one of those things that kind of gets under your skin and you want to keep doing it. Unlike other trips, EF is a unique experience. They try to cater it specifically towards kids and education and fun activities. But that does not mean that we are saying, no, parents, you can't come. Make memories with your kids. Come along, do some fun
parents
stuff,
come.
lots of pictures.
Mhm.
Every itinerary includes hands-on immersive learning experiences, such as the cooking class in Korea. I mean, that's awesome, right?
I'm thinking of doing a Taekwondo class too.
Mhm.
And there's a K-pop dance class.
Mhm.
So I'm like, "Ugh, should I add all of them?" It's like, oh, but the price.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, cooking class is good. Like, we'll settle with cooking class. But like K-pop dance class, I was like, yes.
No, it's when you mentioned the parents, I just want to say, like, I had a mom who came along and I said to her, I said, look, I will talk to you about travel forever. If you want to just take a trip on your own, like, I'll tell you everything you need to know. And it was so funny because she was like, no, no, I want to show up at an airport and that's the last thing I have to do. Like, from then on, you are the one who tells everybody. And I was like, oh, okay, so I should be. And she was like, yes, you figure out if my daughter is not at this thing. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see the appeal of
Yeah.
that. Like, that in particular restaurant. So yes, parents are more than welcome to come as well.
So EF puts safety first. Like I said, they do have boots on the ground. So if anything unexpected does happen, they're there to troubleshoot and get us out of there if needed. So if something is closed, they will turn around and say, okay, we're going to do this instead. So when we were in Japan, we were going to go to somewhere near Mount Fuji, and it turns out to be a holiday that weekend. And they're like, and they said, we can't go there because all the tourists are there. There's going to be a ton of traffic. It's going to take us hours to get there and then continue on to where we need to be before the end of the day. So we're like, okay, we're going to have to cut that one out. I think it was like the hot springs. So we pivot. And that's one of the things that the kids and travelers learn to do is be flexible, because travel is never a done deal, right? There's always room for flexibility when you are traveling.
It worked out in the end because Mount Fuji was covered in fog.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire time we were there. But
Yes, yeah. The personalized fundraising page. So it's a technology world, right? If you know that you are going to be signing up for one of these and you feel very confident about that, and holidays are coming up, you send a little link to family members. Cherry Bell and I have both done QR codes in our Christmas cards.
Very, very smart.
Would you like to have my son see a little bit of Europe? He wants to be a history major. It was wonderful having him see Dachau, right? So things along that line. It's a way to send that out, and an easy way to, as a gift, instead of sending presents, why don't you put something towards my child's education, and something that will last a lifetime in terms of memories, experience, all of that good stuff.
And another thing that they actually do is EF actually does give 100 students $1,000 towards their trip. And if you have no problem getting, like, making video and getting in front of the camera, that's what that is. It basically is the student creating a video and telling EF, how is this going to benefit me and why do I want to do this? Why do I want to go on this trip? And they hand out 100 to 100 students $1,000 every single year. So I haven't had a kid actually try before because they've all been very shy. Maybe one of you could be one of those kids that can create that video and tell me, why do you want to do this? So, but that's basically it. You complete a short form and you submit a video of why this is going to be a life-changing experience for you. And if EF likes your response in your video, you get $1,000 towards your trip, right? And EF Traveler support is always there. before, after, and like before, during, and after your trips. So they're always available. You go on the website, there's a chat box, and when that chat box actually pops up, you're actually talking to a real person, not an AI or anything like that. EF travel specialists are actually responding to all your questions, and they'll tell you, it's like, I can't really answer this right now. I need you to call and actually talk to me, you know? So that is one of the things that I learned. I am actually an ambassador for EF. And that is one of the things that I learned is like, yeah, was like, when you were chatting, that was me. That's what they told me. I was like, that was you? I was like, yeah, that was me. I was like, you were actually talking to a real person. I was like, okay, cool. So that is one tidbit that I like to actually tell everybody is like, yes, it is a chat box, but you're actually talking to a real person when you are talking to them. But email or chat, and then of course you can always call the 800 number and actually talk to them. But we do have some former travelers here.
We do, yeah, so I know you don't have to talk, so, I thought it'd be nice for you to hear from some people who actually went on a trip, actually recently, very recently, went on a trip and yet are still here, interested again. So Allison, you want to say briefly, what did you like about traveling? And she's traveled a ton before. So what did you like about traveling on this particular kind of experience?
I really liked it because it felt less stressful than other travel experiences by like a long shot. And also like everything was like really engaging, but like wasn't to the point where it was like horrible. It was like really good. It was, like,
wasn't too much educate, yeah.
it wasn't too much, like it was a lot of education, but it wasn't too overstimulating.
Mm-hmm.
But also like you still had that fun part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
And like when they say you hit the ground running, we hit the ground running.
Yeah.
We literally landed and we were like, are we gonna go to Ostia?
Yeah.
And then
let's add
we
more
were
stuff.
like, "Eh." And then
Yeah.
we don't get back to the airport till like 9 p.m.
And Allison, if you don't mind me sharing, she also got to be one of my first student got injured on a trip with me. It's never happened to me before. And I was like, they have, of course, all these protocols that we learn about what's going to happen, da, da, da. And so I got to actually see like what happens. Turns out the entire top of the Acropolis, all of that marble that people have walked on for many, many thousands of years has become incredibly slippery. And also
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who kind of shove and move around.
Okay, well,
So
the word specifically said, do not stand on the marble. It is very slippery. What did I go and do?
You stood on the marble.
yeah, well, that's a better view. But anyway, and then we got to ride an awesome glass elevator down that you only get to ride if
you're
you
injured.
seriously injured yourself on the Acropolis. So there's all these different things that happen. But so I got to experience, if you're curious, I mean, we've all had these things, I got to experience what it was like to, do a doctor trip, have everything checked out, get a taxi back to the hotel. So if you as a parent are thinking like, well, what happens if something happens, right? They have contingency plans upon contingency plans. They will take care of you. They will make sure that everything is working out with your child as far as all of that is concerned. So you don't have to say anything, but do you want to say anything?
No,
No.
we have Nathan back there.
Yep.
He has not traveled with us, but he will be going with us to Scotland and South Korea, but he has already traveled with a former teacher here who has gone on to the Gov school, but he wanted to come and share his experience on an EF tour.
You go like all the state, you see like every day like individual portrait that they have, how they form and live for like thousands of years in some places. It's really just kind of unique to learn about like, ooh, how did this appear from this one thing, and it's really just kind of an ongoing thing that's been kind of pulling in for me for all these trips.
Right. And we have parents who have traveled with us and have had other trips.
Yeah.
And Taylor, if you guys want to say something.
It was a really good experience. Our experience actually started with our son only. He went with you guys to Germany and whatever else. And he was 17 at the time. He's an ADHD kid who is full of ideas and great. They're all great ideas, and most of the time he finds himself in trouble. And it was really cool to see him come back from it because he was super grounded. Like it was almost like a growth that happened in 11 days, he came home and he felt like he was a grown up, like there was another level of his life that he had reached.
Mhm.
So it was really cool to see that, because from that moment on, he started exploring other things, and so that kind of motivated us. I mean, we love traveling, but we were like, we gotta go see what is so special. So we were with the group a couple years ago in Japan.
Just last year. It was just last year.
So long, see more trips and more.
And I have to say, it's the most amazing experience I've ever had. Just the cultural level of learning that you have when you go to another country, when you see other people interact with you and their customs and the religion and what they do, how they survive. All of those things that we take for granted sometimes because we don't experience them. I am originally from a different country, so I had some of those views, but these were completely different than what anything I knew. So it was really fulfilling to get to see all of that. And I guess my experience as a parent is because I've seen it, I see how they manage the trips, the works, the transportation, all of that. I mean, I felt at times like I was being directed by a sergeant, like no, don't, because you got all these people, because at the same time that you're there are other groups as well. So there's tons of people around you. So there's a lot of direction and specific instructions being given. So it really felt comforting. And if I had to do it all over again, let my son go, I would feel very, very comfortable doing it.
And can I just say that both her boys ended up taking care of my boy while I was busy helping. So I get a text, we've got him. I'm like, okay, good. Taylor?
Yeah, so I went with another teacher from Bird when I was 17, and my mom and I actually both went to Ireland together. And we still say to this day that we want to go back again, like with the rest of our family. And it was like we really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And we actually had a ton of travel delays at the beginning of the trip. So we missed like a day in Dublin. But they were really good about it. Like they put us up in a hotel. Like we had to go to like Newark instead of DC and everything. And they like EF handled all of that. And it was just a lot of fun. And none of us really, Dublin is so touristy that we were all just like, we don't mind missing a day in Dublin because the way our trip was, you started in Dublin, went around to Dublin, dropped some people off, and then had an extension that went up to Northern Ireland. So we saw Dublin 3 separate times. So we were like, okay, missing one day. That's right. But the only complaint we had was that the close of was foggy the day we were scheduled to go, but we got to see like Giant's Causeway, which is amazing.
Yeah, that is
Still my
amazing.
favorite place.
It is.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
I agree. And I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the video won't open.
That's all right.
You want to show a video?
Hmm?
Want to show a video?
This video.
Hmm?
I said, I don't know this video.
You don't know this video?
If
Let's,
the video will work.
Yeah.
video will work. We will make it work.
Another thing with the tours is that they're like really, really like they're not like super intense in the way that you're like kind of like like running around panting, just trying to get.
Yeah. They're reasonably paced.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
There you go. We solved it.
What kind of tech person would I be if I
know.
couldn't solve it?
On the fly.
Like, no big deal. Kauai. Make us feel old. Make us feel old there, child. So, so true. But we've got quote, so true. I mean, we've had a couple people already mention it already, like the maturity level of a lot of kids come back. They're like, oh my gosh, like I did all of this by myself without mom and dad. And I was like, we were there, but they had to do things on their own at the same time. So I like seeing that growth in the kids, especially. But we've already done this, but this is the one you're waiting for. But enrollment is open. If you secure your spot by October 3rd, you've got the discounted pricing that is available. It's $100 off of Scotland, and you've got $200 off on Alps and the Mediterranean, as well as South Korea. But we will send out all of this, like we will send out this presentation for you guys to actually look at and peruse and give you guys more information to go back and just look at everything that we presented to you today. If you have any questions, we're here to answer any of them, or send us a message and we'll answer them. If you scan that QR code at the very beginning and have been inputting any questions, our EF tour consultant will be answering those to you guys personally as well. So, do you have any questions for us this evening? Yes, ma'am.
That's an excellent question.
Unrest or things beyond our control, force majeure, like anything like that, then we're not canceling, but the company or the country or even the US, there's any sort of things, what happens in those sort of situations as far as if you paid already for the trip and they're something outside of our control.
So like COVID. So we were actually going to Australia and New Zealand when COVID happened. Our trip got canceled and everybody got their money back. So like things like that.
Right after that, we were actually going to Eastern Europe, and then Putin. So we changed it from Eastern Europe to Germany and the Alps. So they will work with us to make sure that you are not losing out on something. Cherry Bell and I worked together to make sure that like the main draws to our Eastern Europe trip were repeated in one way or the other. So instead of going to Auschwitz, we went to Dachau.
Right.
Instead of going on the I want to say Danube, but it's not the Danube. Whatever. There was a river cruise. We ended up doing the Rhine River cruise. So we kind of tried to replicate that, and they gave us options to check through and make sure that everyone stayed safe.
Right.
Right. So.
So there are options, and like, and we work together with EF just to make sure that everybody's experience is there and that all of our bases are covered for the most part. But things like that, we try to cover them. If they are out of our control and the state of the world is not ideal, we will look at our itinerary and see. But we always go back to our travelers and we say, okay, this is happening. Here are our options. What would you guys like to do? So I always throw it back to you guys. You have the option to either continue with a new itinerary, or you can go back and
sometimes it's just one leg of the itinerary.
Right. So yes.
Mid-trip, we're on the Galapagos Island, but I think that is protest afterward. So they stay on the Galapagos Island for 2 extra days And EF didn't charge them any money, they were kind of part of the trip.
Okay,
And also, if something ever happens, like while you're in that specific area, EF will find a way to get you out of
Right.
Yeah.
any unsafe situations. They'll get you far away from them.
Right.
And it is nice. It's like, I mean, we've all experienced various kinds of travel delays and things like that. But again, if you're like, well, what happens if your flight's canceled or like, a volcano in Iceland is going off again and all flights, it's like, that's the thing is if you're in country, EF is taking responsibility for you. So they will they will find a hotel for the travelers. They'll put you up. They'll even, if you're there for multiple days, they'll even arrange for, because they have all these guides, they'll even arrange for you to take an additional tour or something like that at no additional cost. So they won't just like say, oh, well, you have to sit in this hotel for another 2 days until the air clears from all this ash,
Right.
right? I'm on a Google Facebook group of EF travelers, and so I get to see sort of what happens. And they're like, oh yeah, we ended up having to do this, so they got us a local tour guide who took us for a walking tour of the city we weren't even supposed to do. Or yeah, we got to spend 2 more days in the Galapagos. So they work that stuff out, and that's again what's nice about them being a machine.
right. Any other questions? Oh, raffles. Did everybody get their their little bracelets in the bag? Yes? Okay, so I do have a couple bags. I have 3 bags. Anyway, look, mix them up, mix them up. She's mixing, I can vouch. Allison, there you go.
I love the EF short stuff. The EF, no, the EF backpack, that thing's been through it and it's still alive. It's been through and it's still alive. It's hanging in there.
Yeah. I'm still using it. To this day, it's ratted and tatted, but it's my Zumba bag.
It's been through and it's still hanging on.
Yep.
Is Wendy.
Wendy. Hey.
Oh, see that now, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I'm gonna like rotate them all around. Shuffle them up. Hold the bag. There we go.
Stop. Had to sit up front. Sorry, guys. Had to sit up front.
Oopsie.
All right.
You're welcome.
Now, I am offering, I'm raffling off one thing. It's not physical or anything like that. I am going to tell our tour consultant. I'm raffling off an extra $100 for anybody that signs up tonight. Okay, or by October 3rd. So if you sign up for any of our trips, I'll give you an extra $100. Okay, so discounted. An extra $100 discounted on your trip. So basically, I will keep all of these names. Okay, so if you sign up for any of the trips, I'll pull your name and we'll draw another an extra $100 discount. Okay, so keep that in mind. So you've already getting $200 off on our trips. So 100 on mine and 100 on hers. So you have a chance to get another $200 off of hers or $300 off of one of ours. There you go. Okay. Any questions?
Any questions?
No, the $95 fee, is that per trip?
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
And there are various discounts if you're in a special situation, like you have your repeat traveler or you're with siblings, things like that. So talk to us we're not going to bore everybody with all those details, but if you've traveled with EF before, just chat with us because there might be some other things.
Repeat travelers and siblings and also general family who are going together. I think it also
Maybe.
applies
I
to
did.
siblings.
I have to remember it, but.
So make sure you sign in and make sure that you have dropped your name in the bag with one of these bracelets.
Can you explain about the rooms again?
Oh yeah, so rooms for adults are maximum of 2 adults in a room, okay? Unless you want to upgrade and then you can be in a single, okay? Rooms for kids are anywhere between 2 and 4 to a room. Now, when I did my trip, it was a lot of quads, and I thought, oh, it's going to be a variety. But so if you know that your child needs space, when you look at those numbers, you should calculate in doing a room upgrade for them. So if they upgrade once, then it goes to straight to a double. And if they sort of upgrade beyond that, they can be a single in a room. Now the quads, to be clear, they were all separate double or twin beds. Twins, that's right.
Yes.
But you know, 2 of the twins were right next to each other. Sorry. She kept being in the quad. I had 1 quad and then 1 double. Bacon kept being in the quad, so that's how the numbers work. There's also family rooms and other kinds of arrangements like that. So that would be a definite question where if you know that your student is going with someone else or something like that, talk to us about, well, what would it be if it's 2 adults and this, or like if there's particular combinations, but the default is 2 adults or up to 4 kids. And it really depends on the hotel. You don't find out till you get to the hotel. These are the rooms they got us. We break up by gender. All right, we have this many girls, 6. So you're in a room of 4 again. So yeah.
Or Reagan. But none of the doubles can be like a parent child.
The child would have to upgrade.
The child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the child would have to upgrade.
So we did that. Our youngest son wanted to stay in the same room with our oldest son. So we ended up upgrading Heath's call so that they could stay on.
He was
Because
not
my
an
oldest
adult,
son
yeah.
was an adult and the little one was not so little, but he was 19 when he was considered a student.
Mhm.
So we ended up upgrading so he could stay.
Mhm. And that is a fee that's based on the number of nights of your tour. They just are like, I forget what it is.
It's a set number set amount per night, and then take that quantity and times it by the nights that you are on tour.
But when you break it out in the monthly payments, it doesn't add that much.
Yeah.
Per month.
Any other questions?
Many teachers, I know, right?
I would.
Well, I did get recertification from.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, there's like a little certification thing that you can do for it. And if you're a teacher,
And
yeah.
then got high school credit
Mm-hmm.
and then there's college credit for students as
You
well.
do have to do some.
There is
Yeah.
one.
Like and some after I got back to work.
But the recertification program is totally free. It's just an extra, they give you this package of like, do this work and then come back and do this reflection work. And then you get, do you know how many points you get?
40.
40 points. That's a lot of points.
Again, if you guys want to come to Korean class, we have Korean class on Saturdays. Not this Saturday because there's cheer comp all day, throughout the entire building. But our next one is next week.
Mhm.
Next Saturday, we have a Korean class, and October 18th, we actually have a cooking class. We're making kimbap, Korean kimbap. And if you're interested in joining us for that night or for that day, come and see me. And of course, more than welcome to send me an email and ask about anything that we've talked about this evening. Thank you guys so
Thanks
much
so
for
much,
coming
guys.
tonight.
Mhm.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Allison. I appreciate